Listen up. You're watching TikToks all day anyway, so why not get paid for it? Ever thought about making money from TikTok but you don't have any followers? Well, forget the 1,000 follower rule. GFN Vault has just changed the game. AFTV and DR Sports have partnered with one of the biggest UK creators, Anthony Owo, to bring you GFN Vault.
Our agency helps you earn, grow, succeed with exclusive support. With 0 following, you can start earning straight away. No gimmicks, no catches, 100% free.
Every big creator started from nothing, including me. So why not you?
Whether that is football, gaming clips, or just chatting complete and utter rubbish, anyone can be a creator, just like me.
So hit the link right now, get involved, and start earning today with GFN Vault. Do not sleep on this.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to AFTV Live on a Saturday night at 7 o'clock PM. I hope you're all doing well. As you can see, I'm joined today by Kenya, not by Stricto, but by Kenya, who's equally as knowledgeable, who is equally as charismatic, and she's in the building. So let's give a big digital round of applause for Kenya.
Yes, thank you. Big you up. I'm not Robbie as well, just to put it out there.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, you're the.
How are you doing? You right?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. No doubt you've been catching up with the football.
Yeah. I mean, Brighton and Forest are playing at the moment, still 0-0. We saw Palace win earlier.
Yeah,
so, man.
Good goal by Eddie and Ketcher, man.
Yeah, man. You know what? I was saying to my dad, I actually wanted Palace to win. I'm happy they won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was a well-taken goal as well.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I don't know if you saw the Eze goal.
I saw that. Yeah.
So
big up.
Man.
Yeah, I'm pleased for Eddie, man. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But okay. So with regard to tonight's show, first of all, thanks so much, Kenya, for coming in at such short notice, but really appreciate that. Just to give you the heads up for the items on the show tonight, people, we're going to talk about the FA Cup. We'll talk about, if we get time, the impending appointment of Andreas Berta as Arsenal's new sporting director. We will try and talk about the return of Bukayo Saka. And maybe, if time permitting, we'll get a quick look ahead to Arsenal's game against Fulham coming up in a week. But let's start with the main topic then, Kenya. As we know, it's FA Cup quarterfinal weekend, 4 games. We've already spoken very briefly about Fulham and Crystal Palace. Fulham losing at home to Crystal Palace 3-0. There's a game that's going on right now between Brighton and Notts Forest. Tomorrow there's a double header, Preston North End versus Aston Villa, and of course Bournemouth Man City. And quarterfinal weekend. And if you notice, Kenya, there's no Premier League games on this weekend to distract it, which is good. It's the first games after the international break. And I've got to say, Kenya, I don't know about you, but I'm quite envious.
Yeah, man.
I'm feeling a way about this, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I've got to say, man, that Mikel Arteta, what is this, his 6th season now? He won the FA Cup in his 1st season. But if I tell you that since then, his record in the FA Cup, Ken, has been quite bang average. In fact, it's probably less than that.
Let's call it what it is.
So he won the FA Cup in his 1st season. That was a really good return. The Aubameyang era, won the FA Cup. That's good. But then the very next year, we got eliminated in the 4th round by Southampton. The year after that, we got eliminated in the 3rd round by Notts Forest.
Yes, I remember that.
The year after that, we got put out the FA Cup by Man City in the 4th round. Yeah. 23-24 season, eliminated in the 3rd round by Liverpool. And of course, this year, Kenya, we were eliminated by Man United, who, let's face it, a pretty ordinary Man United team as well. It went out in penalties. So how disappointed are you, Kenya, with Arsenal's recent record in the FA Cup?
Very. I mean, we've won the FA Cup the most times. It's our trophy. Do you know what I mean? And it is massively disappointing that we've once again fallen short in that regard. I mean, I look at all the teams that are left in that FA Cup, right? And I'm like, that cup is so winnable. Usually you get to this stage and a Man City, a Liverpool, you still got your really big teams in it. And I know Man City is still in it, But I'm looking at it now and I'm like, Palace, this is no disrespect to any of these teams, but Palace, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, even Preston, I think,
Yeah,
they've got a
Preston,
chance to go through.
yeah, I know.
Why aren't we there? I mean, I went to that game where we lost to Liverpool. I was there. I was there for the Man United one as well. And it's like the players didn't want it. They didn't turn up in either games. And it's almost all of the same issues that we had in both of those games have still persisted seasons later, where we
Do you
failed
think
to
that
score.
do you think that the manager is taking the FA Cup or the domestic cups period? Because I mean, let's face it, we've not done that well in the Carabao Cup either. Okay, this season we got put out by Newcastle, went on to win it. Fair play to Newcastle, but even so, our record in the domestic cup competitions has not been good. Do you think the manager has placed too much emphasis on the league at the expense of the domestic cups?
I think when he first kind of came in, I'd say yes, because we didn't have the squad really to be in these cups. Do you know what I mean? We had a very thin squad. And I think the club's ambition was just to get back into that top four because that's where the money is really at. But I think in recent years, no. I mean, when we lost to Man City, that 1-0, that was a really close game. That was just a very unfortunate game, if I'm being honest. I thought we played really well and we lost. I think Ake scored in like one of the last minutes of the game. So I'd say in recent years, I'd say no. I think we've actually been quite poor when it comes to the cups. I think, what about that Carabao performances against Newcastle? They were dreadful. I was there.
Yeah.
What about when I was there for the Man United one? I saw Odegaard miss a penalty.
You're talking about this year's FA Cup.
Yeah, I saw so many missed chances. And I actually think the manager has been, in recent times, I would say, it's been let down when it comes to winning, to trying to go forward to win these trophies.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a weird season because here we are. We're right at the end of March. And still, okay, we got the Champions League to look forward to, but it does seem a little bit weird that we're out of contention for pretty much everything. Because let's face it, the league has gone. Yeah? That's dead, and we all know that. And like I said, the Carabao Cup, disappointing go out to Newcastle in the fashion that we went out in. Same for the FA Cup. Man United went out on penalties, but we should have put that game to bed. I was at that game. So here we are, Kenya, still in March. And there's not that much to look forward to, really, other than obviously the Champions League and trying to get a top 4 place.
Yeah, that's lackluster to me. Sorry. Like, I even think in our worst times when we were, an average team, we still won the FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And why is it now that we're much better, but we can't win it? It's just, it's really disappointing. And like I said, you look at the teams that are in it.
Yeah,
like there's teams in there that have never won that. Do you know what I mean? There's teams that have never won the FA Cup. We've won it the most times. We've won it 14 times.
That's right.
Like, why are we not going ahead to try and win this? It's very poor. Like, I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. A trophy is a trophy. I don't care. I know people always say these things of like, oh, it's just a League Cup. It's just the FA Cup. No, it doesn't matter. A trophy is a trophy. Look how much that means for Newcastle.
The next question I was going to ask you. There seems to be a perceived arrogance amongst some of the fans, certainly not me. And they will say to me, I mean, I've even had this conversation with your dad. Not saying that he said that, but I've had a conversation with certain fans, and they've been of this kind of attitude whereby the FA Cup, we've won it 14 times, we're the record holders. We should really be focusing all our attention on the league and the Champions League. The FA Cup is not that big a deal these days. But to me, it is. I mean, Kenya, obviously, I'm from a different era to you. Same era as your dad. Believe it or not, Kenya, and this is the absolute truth. The FA Cup was once almost as big as winning the league. They used to make a real big deal out of it. You know what I mean? We used to get up in the morning and watch the whole lead up to the FA Cup. And it was a massive, massive deal. Yeah. And okay, I accept it's not nowhere near as it was back then. But even so, I still consider it one of the big competitions to win. I mean, I'm sure at the start of the season, Kenya, the clubs draw up clubs like Arsenal draw up a priority list. There'll be 4 competitions they could win. Yeah. It'll be the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, Champions League, and the Premier League. Now, I would imagine that the Premier League is probably their top priority, closely followed by the Champions League. But then after that, I'm sure the FA Cup is next, followed by the Carabao Cup. And, you know, at the end of the day, man, it's all about winning things, isn't it? And very few people are going to win the league and the Champions League. So to me, I would have thought the FA Cup should be one of their main priorities, yeah?
Yeah, look, I think every trophy should be your main priority. We're a team where we've not won something now for 5 seasons. Do you know what I mean? And to me, we've come short in the league. We know what it's like to be one of the best teams around and not have anything to show for it. So that FA Cup or whatever it is, that's your backup. That's your, okay, we might have fallen short in the Champions League and the Premier League, which is 2 of the hardest competitions, but we made it over the line in something else. And as well, that FA Cup, it's money. It also gets you a guaranteed European place as well. It's the oldest trophy. Like this is when people talk down on the FA Cup, right? Look at teams in other leagues. Just because you want to win the league doesn't mean they don't win their domestic cups. Look at Bayern; they try and win those domestic cups. Look at Barcelona and that they try and win Copa del Rey and stuff like that. Why is that not the same emphasis for Arsenal fans? You should want to try and win every single trophy. It doesn't matter. Yeah, this guy is saying the FA Cup doesn't make Arsenal a big club. The FA Cup is an incredible, massive trophy to win. Look how Man United fans are running up their mouth for winning the FA Cup.
It's also a very big part of our history. Like you said, Kenny, at the start of the show, we won it 14 times.
14 times.
Record holders, you know what I mean? So I disagree with that comment. That is part of making you, I mean, winning the FA Cup in its isolation doesn't make you a big club, but big clubs do win the FA Cup.
Yeah, exactly. They win them things. They sweep up. They sweep up. That's why things like the quadruple and the treble is so important. And it's such a massive accomplishment because it's like, right, you did win the massive thing, which is the league, but you also swept up in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. It's still such an incredible achievement to make. So I think, look, I'm not saying that the FA Cup or even the League Cup is anywhere near the Premier League, but it's still a trophy. And in football's about winning things.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. In 10 years' time, if I'm a footballer and I just said, yeah, I came second 3 times with Arsenal, and you know, I got this far, I got to a final in the FA Cup, and someone says to me, but did you actually win any of those things? And I said, well, no, but I came second. Who cares about that? Yeah. It's about winning.
That's right. And likewise, you don't get any trophies for finishing in the Champions League spaces. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. It's great to be participating in the Champions League. I'm sure we're all looking forward to the game against Real Madrid. That's going to be a great game, the biggest game of the season so far. I get it. However, you don't get medals and trophies for qualifying for the Champions League. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I would go further than that, Ken, is to say that, let's be honest, in terms of Champions League, I think that's something that the suits at the club probably value a little bit more than the fans, because obviously when you're in the FA Cup and if you get to finals and stuff like that, it's a great day out for the fans. They can get behind the club. They turn out in droves. I mean, I've been to a couple of FA Cup finals over the years. Yeah, spectacular occasions. Incredible. You know what I mean? I can remember going to Cardiff when we beat Man United. I've gone to Wembley on more than a few occasions. We won. It's great days out. You talk about that forever.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, with the Champions League, it's a different dynamic. And I've got to say, Ken, I woke up this morning, especially, maybe it's exacerbated coming after the international break. You can't wait for the football to start again. Yeah. And then here we are. Football starts again and we're not involved. We're having to wait till Tuesday for our next game because we got knocked out of the FA Cup.
Exactly. Like I said, no disrespect to any of these teams, but Palace, Fulham, Aston Villa, Preston, who else am I forgetting? Bournemouth, Man City. These are the teams that are in it. We're bigger than all of those clubs. We're a bigger club than all of those clubs. And it's actually, 100%. You know, we're the 3rd biggest club in the country. And I understand people are not putting this. I'm not saying you should put the same weight on an FA Cup as a league, as winning a league, but it's important. It's important to win things. it's important to show, and also winning these things. Look at what that FA Cup did for Mikel Arteta. He came in his first ever managerial career. He won something in 6 months with a team that we all as Arsenal fans were like, this is an awful team. He came in, he took over from Unai Emery, who was absolutely awful, who got us, by the way, when he took us to a final, we got absolutely battered in it. What did Mikel Arteta do? He went and he won an FA Cup, and he did it against Chelsea. He beat Chelsea, which was at the time one of the best teams. Beat Man City. When we played in the Community Shield, we beat Liverpool. These are like at the times the best teams in the country, and we did it. Winning these things, it instills a mentality, not just a mentality, but it helps you to want to want more.
Yeah.
To me, you have to win these. Simple.
I couldn't agree more. Kenneth, do you think, right? And listen, I'm not necessarily saying this. I'm just putting the question, so don't shoot the messenger. Do you think that had Arteta not have won that FA Cup when he first come, do you think that the fact that he's not won any leagues or anything like that, do you think his managerial position would have been under some threat had he not have won that FA Cup?
It's hard to say, I think yes, but I think because with Arteta, we could see the direction he was taking the club in. So we finished 8th. We finished 8th twice. We finished 5th, and we finished second. It's one of them ones where I actually maybe not, because I think after that.
The reason why I say that is there is a school of thought amongst some fans I've spoken to. They said that had he not won that FA Cup, then there's a good chance that he either might not be here or he'd be struggling this season to keep his job. So that in itself, if that is the case, or if people do agree with that thought process, then that would appear to indicate that the FA Cup is a big deal then, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, to me, the FA Cup, I think, really saved his job at times, to be honest. I think especially in that second season where we finished 8th again and people were almost looking at it like there's no progress. We've taken on a guy who's essentially a rookie and, we're finished in the same place again and we've not won anything. Do you know what I mean? But I do think like I said, with Arteta, you could kind of see where he was taking the club. And I think it shows, like he's taken us further up the table now to the point where we're challenging for the league and we're upset that we're not winning it. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a massive jump from before when we were like, okay, we're getting top 4 under Arsene Wenger. It's like, okay, we're getting top 4. We might win an FA Cup, but we were unhappy with that. Whereas now we've Unai Emery took us backwards. We've now got back to almost better stage now, which is above that top 4. We want to win the league. We want to go far in the Champions League, and we're starting to do that. But we've not got the silverware to back it up, and we need to get this. We need the silverware to back it up. Look what an FA Cup look what that winning the League Cup did for Ten Hag. Do you know what I mean? He came in, he won that, and it got loads of United fans and the board to back him.
Yeah.
He then went to the next season. I know he was awful, but then he won the FA Cup. Like these winning things is so important.
But the counter argument to that, Kenya, is that despite winning the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, he lost his job this year. So
and that's fair.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you should be awful, but my thing is that we are a good side. We are good. We have enough squad depth that, for me, the excuses are out. We have enough squad depth now. We have about, 7 defenders. Do you know what I mean? We can rotate the team and feel pretty comfortable. And you're telling me that in those earlier stages of the League Cup and the FA Cup, we can't do that and we can't make it through. It's not good enough.
Yeah, you're right, man. And like I said before, Kenny, it's not just the fact that we've not won it. If you examine our record in that cup since Arteta's been, as I said, he won it in his first season, but since then we've not gone past the 4th round.
Yeah, exactly.
We've won every round in the last 2 or 3 years.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And we're getting beaten by teams like, no disrespect, Southampton, the Forest that knocked us out.
Yeah, that was Forest of old.
Yeah, that weren't this year, Forest. Okay, Liverpool, you can understand, but even this year, Kenya, Man United were not a good team when they put us out.
Exactly.
I mean, we were expected to smoke them, especially being at home.
Yeah, I remember that Liverpool game, right? We had so many chances and we failed to bury any of them. And Liverpool, they were just ran down the other end twice, and they scored and they went through. That's the difference. Like, I understand the reality is, yeah, Ryan made a good point here. 10 men united. We failed to beat 10 men. That's what, do you know what I mean? We failed in a penalty shootout when we have all these internationals who know how to take penalties, and all of them, you know, it felt short.
I mean, we got a comment here from Mirad Semra. See what you think of this. He says, he's addressing this to me. Those statistics hold no weight, Laurie. We all agreed that the Premier League was the target in most of those seasons. This wouldn't be a concern had we won the Premier League. But my point is, Mirad, we've not won a Premier League. This is my point.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So when you're not winning Premier Leagues and Champions League, then obviously the domestic cups, the Carabao Cups, the FA Cups of this world, they take on far more importance, because as a club like Arsenal, we like to call ourselves a big club, which I honestly think we are. You need to be winning things, you know what I mean? We need that, and we're not getting that. That's my point, Mirad.
Exactly. So, I find it insane to me that Arsenal fans can turn their nose up at the FA Cup. I find it crazy, because even Man City, right? This guy's saying here about, you know, you have to win the league and stuff to be a big team. Man City, when they win the league and stuff like that, they still go hard for the FA Cup. They still try and win it. They even now, look at them. They've had such an awful season. They're trying their best to win the FA Cup. Why don't we try our best? We don't have the privilege to say, you know what? Yeah, we won the league that year. So, yeah, we missed out on the FA Cup, missed out on the Carabao Cup, but we got the big prize. Oh, we won the Champions League, so it doesn't matter. We've won nothing in recent time. How can you turn your nose up? It makes no sense to me. It's like a poor man saying to a rich guy, yeah, but go on with your jacket. You ain't got no jacket. Where's your jacket? Do you know what I mean? How are you turning your nose up? We haven't won something for 5 seasons now.
Well, remember last season, Kenya, when United won the FA Cup, there was actually United fans going around saying they had a more successful season. Because they say, even though you finished second, you won nothing. So basically, our season is more successful than yours. And you know what? At a point, I mean, I don't agree with it fully, but I can see where they would be coming from when they're saying that. Because
if a Newcastle fan turned around and said Newcastle's having a better season than Arsenal, I could understand why they would say that, because they won something.
It's something to remember.
Football is about winning things. Nobody remembers second, third, fifth. Nobody remembers who was in the Champions League spots. They remember who won the league. They remember who won the League Cup. They remember who won the FA Cup, the Champions League. That's what football's about. It's an ego-based sport.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares that, oh, you might have been the best centre back in the world, but actually you didn't win nothing. Nobody cares about that. Exactly. That's why you see so many players, right? That's why you see so many players move on to other clubs like the Bayern Munichs, the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, because they know they're going to win something there. Yeah, because they know, you know what? I've been putting in the work. I've been the best of the best. I've been working hard. And
we've got a lot of players in this
I need something to show for it.
We've got a lot of players in this squad, right? That we need to be winning trophies in order to keep those guys. I'm talking about likes of Saliba, Saka, even the guys that are coming up like your Mars Lewis Skellies and your Wanyeris and them, man. I mean, you can't expect those guys to stick around forever if you're not eating at those top tables. So when I say eating at the top table, I'm not just talking about participating in the Champions League and finishing second. That is all good, but you need to be winning things. You need to make those players feel that they're part of trophy-winning teams.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I don't understand this passenger mindset of, well, at least we challenged for the league and we were so close. Why? It's about winning.
If you look at it this season, Kenya, it's highly likely that we're going to finish second. But in reality, we've not pushed Liverpool close. I think the only time you can really take genuine credit from finishing second is if you, like last season, for example, we pushed City to the last day. So going into that last day of the season last year, there was jeopardy in that day, wasn't it? Because I think if the results had panned out a certain different way, City had lost and we won by X amount of goals, we could have won the league on that day. So we pushed them all the way. That's not the case this time, you know what I mean? Liverpool pretty much got it wrapped up already. There's talk about we may have to do a guard of honor for them when we go up to Anfield next month or May or early May, whenever it is. That is embarrassing for a team.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I even think, missing out on we've been close twice now, and we've missed out just by small margins. That should be even more of an incentive to want to win as much as you can, because you know how heartbreaking it is to be literally the best and still not be enough. In my opinion, last season we were better than Man City. I generally thought in most of our games, in that run from January all the way up till May, we lost one game. We lost one game, we drew one game, we won all the rest, and it still wasn't enough. And I just think we know what it feels like to get to that last day. We saw how deflated the players looked on that last day. They looked so distraught, like we've worked all this hard and we've missed out by 1 point. We've missed out by 2 points. That's why winning the FA Cup, that's why trying to get as far as you can in these competitions are so important, because it salvages a season. Look at when Chelsea won the Champions League. They were having an awful season. Yeah. And I know the Champions League is a much more prestigious trophy. It's the most prestigious trophy in Europe. But see what winning something does for a team. See what it does for a club, for a fan base. Winning something helps. It does so much for you. Now those Chelsea players who, although in the league, they were so poor that season, they can turn around and say, well, I won the Champions League. The Man City players of this season, if they win the FA Cup, they can say, right, this was our worst season, but we still got over the line. Why can't we say that? Why
exactly.
Can't there's over the line?
There's a feel-good factor about winning trophies. And like I said, the Premier League, I get it. There's only going to be apart from the season when Leicester won it, it's a small coterie of clubs that's going to win the Premier League. So it's an extremely hard competition to win. Don't get me wrong. It's not light work. You can't just expect to roll up, win the Premier League. It's a massive achievement in this country. I get that. But what I'm saying is the domestic clubs gives clubs like Arsenal, well, every club in the Premier League, a chance to win other trophies so that you can call yourself a successful team. So if you're not winning the Premier League and then you go out the domestic cups in the fashion that we went out in this season, it's not a good look. And that's the point I'm making. Some people, unfortunately, don't quite seem to get that or dismiss it. And I'm trying to make them understand that winning things is massive, not just for the players as well. I mentioned the players, the importance of the players being able to have medals and say they've won things or even get to finals. I'm talking about the fans. I'm talking about people like me and you, Kenya, who support the club and supported the club for years, pay our money for season tickets and go and watch games. You want to be going to Wembleys and stuff like that and celebrating. That's all part of, those are memories that, you know what I mean, you that will live with you forever. You need that as a fan, especially a club like Arsenal. You need that.
Yeah, and it's fuel in the belly. It's fire in the belly to say, right, although the FA Cup and the League Cup or whatever, it's not as big, but we want to go bigger. We want to get the big one next time. We want to get the Premier League. We want to get the Champions League. And I just think it's strange to me that Arsenal fans will turn their nose down at the FA Cup. The reality is, people can talk about Wenger times and say, well, we always used to win it, blah, blah. The situation and the context is different now. The context is we're a really good team. We're one of the best teams around, but we got nothing to show for it. I look at Liverpool last season. Liverpool were the third best team in the country, right? They had a disappointing season when we think about the fact that they were favourites to win the Europa League. They didn't win it. They crashed out to Atalanta. They were in the driving seat to win the league. They were 8 points clear of us. I think they were 10 points clear of Man City. They ended up finishing third. But you know what? They won the League Cup, and that kind of salvaged something. Although it was a bit of a disappointment, they still had something to show that actually we were actually really good in that season. We missed the mark a bit, but we showed up in a really big, important moment, and it's another trophy to take home.
Absolutely.
We can't say the same. And we were better than them.
Yeah,
we were better than the last season, and we can't say the same. We can't say, oh, you know what? We won the FA Cup, we won the League Cup, despite the fact we missed out on 1 point. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of missing out by 2-3 points and then saying, yeah, the team was so good, but there's nothing to show for it.
Couldn't agree more. You've articulated that very well. And like I said, earlier, Kenya, if we do go on to win the Champions League, which is, it may be unlikely to some, but it's not impossible to others, certainly not to me, certainly not to you, then I guess a lot of people will be saying, who needs the FA Cup when you won the Champions League? And I get that. However, if we don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it'll be yet another season without a trophy. And so the weight goes on and the pressure builds. Whilst we're on the FA Cup, we're gonna finish off this topic. And I just wanted to ask you, who do you think will go through out of the quarterfinals? Well, we know one of them already.
Yeah.
And who do you think will go on to win? So Fulham, Crystal Palace, we already know that Crystal Palace are going to go through there. They beat Fulham 3-0. The Brighton Forest game, I understand, is it gone to?
I think it's gone to extra time. Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you fancy to win in that one? Who do you think will prevail?
Ooh. I'm going to say Forest because Brighton haven't played very well, to be honest.
Yeah, when I was watching it earlier, it wasn't a great game, but it did look like Forest looked the more dangerous of the two teams. That could even go to penalties, you know. But
probably.
Yeah.
I think
Before
Forest
the game,
as
I
well.
think Forest to win that.
I think so far in this competition, all of Forest's games have gone to penalties. They went to penalty. Who was it? They went to I can't remember the other two teams they went to penalties to, but one was like a League One or Championship team. I can't remember who it was.
And you know what they say when things like that start to happen? They say, you know that phrase, "Your name is on the cup." So
yeah,
but yeah, I agree with you. I would imagine. Well, I don't imagine. I kind of think that Forest will edge it, but we'll see. Preston North End versus Aston Villa, Kenny.
Yeah, Aston Villa are going to win that.
Yeah, they should do. Yeah, even though it's at Preston.
Yeah.
But I do expect Villa to win it.
I expect Villa to win that.
Win that game. And what a lot of people are saying is the tie of the round, Bournemouth versus Man City.
Oh, I really want Bournemouth to go for it. Where is it at Bournemouth? It's at Bournemouth.
Yes,
I'm going to say Bournemouth, man. Go on, Bournemouth. Bournemouth never won the FA Cup, so it'd be nice to see them to go far.
Yeah, 100%. And out of those, so if it is Crystal Palace, Forest, Villa, and Man City, who do you think is going to go on and win it this year? Oh, sorry, not Man City, Bournemouth. Bournemouth, Villa, Forest, and Palace.
Ooh, that's so hard to say, you know.
It is, isn't it?
This is controversial. I don't think Aston Villa would win it.
You don't?
Nah, I don't. That's a bit controversial.
That's interesting
because Forest, you know.
Unai Emery has got a very good record in cup competitions. He knows how to win.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say Forest.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Forest.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that. I reckon it's between Villa and Forest.
Yeah,
you don't know they're gonna get in the semis, but yeah.
If you ask me who I really want to win it, I'd say Palace or Bournemouth, but probably more Palace. I'd want to win because I really like Palace. They're a cool team, man.
Yeah. But one thing's for sure, it won't be Arsenal.
Man.
Moving on then, because we still got a few more topics to discuss and we're running out of time. We've got 30 minutes left or just under. Kenny, I've got to ask you, the impending appointment of Arsenal's new sporting director, Andreas Berta. Hope I haven't butchered that name. He's expected to be appointed on Monday. We're being told he'll be appointed on Monday. Now he'll be at the game on Tuesday. He'll be taking over, as we all know, from Edu, who left the club under, I would say, slightly, I wouldn't say dubious, I wouldn't say mysterious, something between the two. It's a little bit of a hybrid.
Mysterious might be a good word for it.
Yeah, I mean, there was something that, I don't know, man. I mean, the explanation given that he left the club to take up this other position at Forest, by the way. When he'd already been offered the job previously and turned it down, he left the job halfway through the season. He's on gardening leave. Something about that whole thing didn't ring 100% correct to me in the way the club were explaining it. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And, you know, I mean, no one really knows. Only the people involved really know. But anyway, Edu is no more. Andreas Berta's coming in. Apparently comes with a very good reputation. I guess my question to you, Kenya, is how excited or how much are you looking forward to this new appointment and how do you think it will work out?
No, I'm very excited because look, I'm actually one of the few people that I feel was okay with Edu. I feel like
I was okay with
I
Edu.
feel like Edu gets a lot of hate, right? And I feel like you have to put in context to a lot of what he did. I'm not saying that everything he did was perfect. I thought he got some things right. And, you know, like you said, I thought it was a bit strange that he left because when he was first originally offered this job, he allegedly turned it down.
Yeah.
And then like a couple of months later, we're now finding out he's actually leaving the club. But I'm really excited because Andrea Berta, I mean, look what he's done at Atletico. He's brought in some massive names. He's brought in Julian Alvarez. We're seeing the guy right now, how good he's been for Atletico. We've seen he brought in Diego Costa. Do you know what I mean? These are some big names and these big strikers.
I've actually got a list of his attacking signings here.
Yeah.
And like you said, he brought in João Felix.
Okay, that's
million.
yeah.
He brought in Julian Alvarez, 82 million. Alvaro Morata, 58 million. Diego Costa, like you said, Kenya.
Yeah.
57 million. Conor Gallagher, he brought in.
Yeah, Conor Gallagher.
Anton Griezmann.
Yeah, exactly.
Matthias Cunha. We've heard that name before.
I wonder if he would have brought in Partey. Yeah, Luis Suarez. I wonder if he would have brought in Partey as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Ryan says Rodri. Yeah, that's such a shout.
Memphis Depay.
Yeah, these are all of them are good players. Say what you want. They're all good players. And I see a guy who's got a track record of getting it right. Now, the João Felix one, that's an argument to be had because João Felix, we've seen it already. He's probably the only one in that list that we can say, yeah, he ain't lit it up. But I think he got João Felix because Griezmann left. And also João Felix at the time, he was like one of the wonder kids of the world. So we see why he paid so much. But everything else there, I'm looking at that like, this guy's he's no stranger to forwards, which we are. We're like allergic to forwards. So it's actually good to know that we've got a guy who's going to get forwards in. He's going to get good forwards in. Not like an idiot.
You can get the Isak deal sorted out though. That's the one we want, right?
Yeah. We need he's got a big job, not only because we need forward players, but we also need to keep players. Players like Saliba, Gabriel. We've got Saka, Ethan Manre. These are all players that their contracts also need to be sorted out. So, he's got a massive job.
There's no doubt that having a capable and efficient sporting director can only enhance the club.
Yeah, 100%.
And likewise, if they're not functioning fully, then it's a detriment to the club. And if you look at this guy's record, the people he signed, the stuff I read about him, it's very positive. The only thing I would say, Kenny, I'd love to know your thoughts on this, is that it's all right having these guys rock up at the club and, they come with their shiny suits and they're articulate and they say all the right things. And, I mean, they've got the big Rolodex of all the contact lists. But at the end of the day, my sort of maybe somewhat cynical or skeptical thought on this is that you can have all those things as much as you want. If the club's not going to back you, then obviously you're not going to have as an effective role in the job as one could be expected to have. So I guess my question to you is, given Arsenal's track record, do you think that they will back him, or do you think that this will be an appointment that will ultimately flatter to deceive?
I think they'll back him because we're in a crucial phase right now where fans are getting restless, where we're saying, right, we got Declan Rice, which was incredible at the time. We're all happy with that. But then we've also sat through someone who, although the fans now really, really like and get onto him well, but we've seen Kai Havertz be signed. Do you know what I mean? We've seen players that I know Mikel Merino stepped up. We've seen Mikel Merino be signed. And we're also thinking like, is this really it? This is a big time now. There's no excuses. We just went for a window where we didn't sign anybody. We have money. We're going to lose. We're going to sell the likes of a Nuno Tavares, a Sambi Lokonga. We're going to lose Kieran Tierney, Thomas Partey, Jorginho. We could sell a Reece Nelson. Do you know what I mean? We could sell a Kiwior, Alexander Zinchenko. There's so many players that we're going to get off our books. There's no excuses. They must back this guy. What's the point of getting him in then if you're not going to back him? And he's shown already that he can be trusted with funds. Other than maybe one.
Do you think then that we didn't get something in the transfer window, the most recent window? I mean, that was appalling, really, wasn't it? I mean, that is bordering on gross negligence. Now, do you think the sporting director, well, we didn't have one at the time.
Yeah, we didn't even have one.
Is to blame for that, or do you think it's the Kroenkes not backing the manager, or is it the manager being quite stubborn and saying, unless I get the players that I really want, then no point? I mean, Arteta has said that he's got a good relationship with the Kroenkes. He said, in fact, he's gone further than that. He said he's been quite effusive about his relationship with the Kroenkes. So I guess my question to you, Kenya, is whose fault is it? Where does this lack of transactions, where is that lie? Is it the manager? Is it the Kroenkes? Is it both? Is it the sporting director? What's going on?
To me, it's a mixture of everybody. Everyone's to blame in this situation. On one hand, I sit here and I look at Arteta and I say, you knew you needed a striker last season and you didn't correct it. You didn't try and sort it out. We knew we signed Gabriel Jesus, right, in that 2022-23 season. He was great, but then he got injured and he had a long-term injury. We didn't try to rectify that in the next summer. Instead, we went and bought someone from Chelsea called Kai Havertz, who we know isn't prolific. I like Kai Havertz. I love him. I'm always bigging him up. But the reality is he's not an Isak, he's not a Gyökeres, he's not a Mo Salah, he's not a Harry Kane. We didn't try to rectify that in that season. The following season, you could have tried to get someone. You didn't. You went and got a defender. You went and got a box-to-box midfielder. And then you went to Chelsea and said, who have you got on offer, mate? And they gave us a washed Raheem Sterling. That's a manager making decisions. That's a manager who said, right, we're going to sell Smith Rowe. We're going to get rid of Reece Nelson as well on loan. We're going to get rid of all these players. We're going to send Fabio out on loan as well. I don't need anyone else. This is it. We were close enough last season. I know this team can do it. That's the manager is to blame in that sense as well, but also the owners. This transfer window, we've just lost our best player. Bukayo, I don't care what anyone says. I don't want to hear about Odegaard, this, that. Bukayo Saka is the face of this club. He is our best player by a country mile. We lost him, and not just for a week or 2 weeks. We knew we were going to lose him for potentially 4 to 6 months. That's basically a season. That's nearly the season. Do you know what I mean? Then within that time, you lose another player to an ACL. You're not going to see that guy until the end of the year, into the next season. We refused to get people. There were so many people out there. Kolo Muani was out there. He's tearing it up at Juventus. There were so many people we could have got. And we turned our nose up because we said, oh, we don't want to spend money. Oh, we don't want to, we want to keep the books dry. We want to be cost effective. And that's cost us a league. That's cost us a Champions League. That's cost us an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup because we refused. So in my opinion, all of those people are to blame because they all played a part in it. I think, yes, this last window just gone. You can sit here and say the owners failed us. But I also see a manager at multiple instances, and I had multiple opportunities to try and rectify these things and didn't, because he's like, oh, this is my guy though. Kai Havertz is my guy. I'm not doubting Havertz. We see how hard he works. I saw him in the run-in last year and I said, this guy, he's scoring and assisting in almost every game. He's turning up. He's a big player for us. But just because you're a big player doesn't mean you can't upgrade. The best teams always try to upgrade. And we didn't do that. So to me, all of those people are to blame. All of those people are at fault. Simple.
No, I mean, you make some very good points there, and I would tend to agree with that. I mean, Mirad, he said to read his comment, I wonder if he's talking about where he says it's all about finding a striker that fits the system, because he's made a few comments.
Yeah,
he's
but
said about player profiles.
Sorry to cut you, but my thing with that, right, there's so much out there. Do you know what I mean? There's so many strikers out there. We had a chance to get Alexander Isak. We turned our nose up at him, and now he's killing it at Newcastle. And all we can talk about is Alexander Isak. Victor Gyökeres is out there. Victor Osimhen's out there. Sesko's out there. We could have got Vlahovic. He was out there. These are so many names that we could have tried to get. We've got Retegui, who's at Atalanta. He's a young, upcoming striker. I think he's second top goal scorer in that league. These are all people we could have got. I don't want to hear about systems and that, because we had so much time to think about these things. We've had so much time. And why is it now taking us multiple seasons to actually say, oh yeah, we do need a striker. You know what? This false nine thing, it doesn't.
You know
work.
what, Kenya? Maybe you should have applied for the job because
maybe I should have.
that is the kind of attitude that we need. But just quickly, right? So I'm going to hypothetically, you are Andreas Berta. It's your first day. You got your Rolodex. You got your contacts list in your phone.
Yep.
Who are you looking to try and bring in? Who's your priorities? Maybe not. You don't all have to give names. Maybe you've got positions that you want to fill. But where do you start? Where's your priorities?
There's so much to be done. Right. First things first. I'm looking at what we really need. And in my opinion, we need a striker and we need a left winger. That to me is our absolute must areas. That's what I'd be looking at first. I'd also be looking at what we're doing about our
striker. Which striker do you want? Give us your first.
I say Alexander Isak is top of my list.
If you can't get him,
Victor Gyökeres.
Okay. And your left winger?
Nico Williams. I like Nico Williams, and maybe even look at a Semenyo as a backup if you can't get him.
Yeah, or like a backup. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a striker
and left winger.
Any other positions that you think?
I think DM and an attacking midfielder. We need a DM and a creative midfielder. 100%. We've seen it this season.
Some people are saying that Partey's done enough to deserve another year, and I wouldn't disagree with that. Would you be of that mindset, or would you try and bring? Because at the end of the day, Ken, you do have to. Finances are not finite.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going to get a blank check.
Yeah.
So if you was to be able to convince Partey to stay, then maybe you would save yourself some money on a DM. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, that's another thing that the club have to think about. I think he's on his. It seems like they don't really want to persist with him. It seems like they really want to get Zubimendi. But I think you have to go for the best option. I don't know what the best option is, if I'm being honest, but get it done. Let's not be in limbo. Let's not wait to the last days of the window to decide, actually, we need another DM because we've only got Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's try and do something about it. I mean, Thomas Partey this season, this is his best season in an Arsenal shirt, 100%. Yeah. And I say that he's kind of playing for that contract to prove that, I should stay. But I also,
I've heard a lot of people say that. I've got fully up on that a bit, Kenny, and I'll tell you why. Because there are some people of that mindset, but then we do need the counter argument to that is that last season he had a lot of injuries, and you can't really help if you're injured. So when people say he's playing for a contract, well, of course he is. But having said that, last season he was injured, so that's obviously going to affect his.
But what about the season before that? And the season before that? Since the guy's arrived, he's just had one leg. What's the point?
Right.
That's why I understand why people say he might be playing for a contract. And there's nothing wrong with playing for a contract. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You should be able to prove that actually, this is why you bought me. Keep me here. And I'm not against that whatsoever. And what I could say this season, he has proved that. He has proved that he can be a valuable asset for the team. But I think the club might be looking at it. Yeah.
Declan Rice's performances in recent games have been really, really good. He's had a couple of man of the match performances. But prior to that, I would say that Partey's easily been our best midfielder this season on a consistent basis. So he probably is, to me, worth another look for one more year because he's at the club, he's playing well. Like you said, Kenya, he's in the best form he's been in since he's arrived there.
Yeah.
So that might be one thing. So just to recap then, so you're saying we need a striker, a left winger, possibly a DM, and did you say a creative?
Yeah, creative midfielder.
So am I to take it then you're not happy with Martin Odegaard's performances?
Look, I love Odegaard, but this has been an awful season. You can't paint it any other way. He said
the season before that he was really good.
Yeah. The season before that he was good, and the season before that he was good. But just because that's the case, I always say you need someone just as good or just a bit less just behind that person.
Yeah, they say that in successful teams, you've got two players vying for the same position who are, if not equal, near of the same standard. But the reality, though, is somewhat different, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, and I agree. But we also need to think about, like, this season, for example, Odegaard was injured and we had no cover because we sent Fabio Vieira out. Now, Does the club want to keep Fabio? I don't know. If they don't, then we have to figure out something else. We need cover for that position. And there also needs to be times where, you know what, sometimes Odegaard's not going to have his best game. So we're going to try this guy instead. Or we're going to try a different type of system. So I think those are the areas. And I also think we definitely need a backup goalkeeper as well. I can't believe I'm even saying that. We've had about 8 goalkeepers underneath this manager. Yeah, we need another backup goalkeeper because we don't have one. So
I mean, Ryan's been outstanding this season. He's probably up there as one of our best players of the season. But you are right, we do need a backup keeper. And as we saw earlier in the season, when what's his name came in, it wasn't his best look.
Oh, Neto, yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're going to buy Neto. Definitely, we're going to send him back and try and get that Garcia, but. We got a lot to get.
So just quickly then, so you're optimistic that Andres Berta is going to be the guy that's going to come in and sort this all out, and
I'm I'm already liking some things I'm hearing. Like he's saying that he likes Bruno G and stuff. Like I know we're not going to get him, but just knowing that he's able to see the goodness in these players and identify like the type of things he thinks Arsenal needs, that's encouraging to me. And like I said, he's proven it at Atletico. That's a team that's also in a league with 2 super giant teams, 2 of the biggest teams in the world, the 2 biggest teams in the world, and they've won a league whilst those teams were operating in that league. Do you know what I mean? They're pushing for a league right now. So right. I have faith that he can do it, but he's under a lot of pressure as well because this is a big job. There's a lot of expectation. So
I like the fact that you're showing confidence in him. What I would say, Kenya, before we move on to another subject, is that I'm cautiously optimistic because I've seen this type of thing before with Arsenal and with other clubs. We were very optimistic when Edu came in, and for whatever reason, it's not quite worked out the way we wanted to. I'm 100% on board with the appointment, and I see some of the positive things that are written. But I go back to what I said a few minutes earlier, Kenya. Unless he's backed by the powers that be, namely the Cronkies and the manager, then, you know what I mean, we need all of them to be aligned for it to work properly. So let's hope that's the case. Okay, moving on, because we're into our last 9 minutes, Kenya. I mean, I could talk to you for ages about football, but there is a limited amount of time. And I did want to talk to you about the impending return of Bukayo Saka.
Yes.
Many people's Arsenal's talisman. You said yourself, Kenya, a minute ago that he's our best player.
Yeah.
I'm sure you was excited to learn when you saw the tweet, I'm back, or what was it he said?
Yeah, he said hello again or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Words to the fact that he's back. So I'm assuming he's back in full training. Do you think he will be back for the Fulham game?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think if anything, he'll be on the bench, but he just won't play. Which I'm not against at all, to be honest. I think if he has the opportunity to potentially play in the next coming weeks, we save him for the big one, which is Real Madrid. But I'm so happy that he's back because he is, like I said, he is the heart of the team. To me, if there ain't no Saka, to me, turns this team from just a top 4 team to a title challenging team. He is.
I mean, I saw a stat the other day where they're saying that with Saka in the team, our win percentage jumps from like 50% to 60+%.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely a pivotal player. Definitely one of Arsenal's most talented players. And obviously, that saying is true, Kenya. When you're not in the team, you automatically become a better player because people see exactly the things that you brought to the team in the first place. Am I reading that right? That Brighton are 1-0 up?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, wow.
That's mad considering that Forest are probably the most deserving team, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Let me have a look at that. Well, it's not come up on. We could be getting wound up, Kenya, because that's not coming up on.
Ryan, you better be telling the truth, you know. Don't let me catch you, bro.
Unless there's some delay on my phone. It's still
maybe
0-0.
But apparently it's been disallowed. Yeah.
Okay. That game looks like it's headed to penalties because we're approaching the 120th minute. Yeah, so go back to Saka. No doubt you, like me, and like all the Arsenal fans out there, we were made up when we saw that news. Do you think he may have been slightly rushed back? I mean, you know, obviously everyone's imploring him to come back for that Real Madrid game. Is there a danger that, listen, as far as players concerned, they want to play. So I'm sure he'll say, yeah, I'm ready, this, that.
Mm.
Do you think there's a slight risk in rushing him back if he is, you know, maybe not quite 100%? Do you think Arsenal will play him against Real Madrid because of what he brings and the sort of feel-good factor that having him back will bring?
Yeah, I think you don't rush someone like, well, you shouldn't rush back any player, in my opinion, but someone like Saka, who's like like I said, the heartbeat of the team, you shouldn't rush him back. He should only play if he's fit and he's ready. Do you know what I mean? And I think what's the point? I could understand if it's a final. If we were in the final against Real Madrid, I would understand. Maybe you're saying, right, he's 95%, he's got that bit of fight. I would understand that. But to me, it's a quarter. And let's say, I don't know, you rush someone back, we get through. There's that risk of you've actually caused further damage to that player. And in the long run, it's not worth it. But I think if he's fit, then if he's fit and he's ready and the doctors are saying, right, he's all right, then cool. If not, then don't even risk it. I don't even see the point in risking it. And we just have to trust the team that we got to do something.
I mean, he did give the thumbs up.
Yeah.
So like I said, it would appear that he's back in full training. My guess would be that they will obviously monitor him very closely, and I think that he may even be on the subs bench for the Fulham game. And I think what will happen is if Arsenal are doing well and things are working out fortuitously, they may see a scenario whereby they might give him 10-15 minutes at the end of the game.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't really want to put Saka into the cauldron of a Madrid game with no minutes behind him.
Exactly. No, I agree. Look, that's going to be the most intense game we're going to play. It's going to be two very physical teams at each other. To expect someone who's not played a single minute of football for 4 months to just come in off.
Is it that long?
Yeah, I mean, December. We're about to enter April, so maybe even longer.
Yeah.
So
that was against Palace. I was at that game as well. That was Palace away. He got that injury. I was at that game.
So
I remember at the time we got really mad because I think one of the Palace
Lacroix
went down.
He was saying to him,
get up, man, get up. And I remember where I was stood, there was a lot of Arsenal fans who were very angry about it.
Yeah.
It was that long ago. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. So I feel like if he's fit, he's ready, then I've got no qualms about it. I always say, I remember last season, I remember James was like complaining, saying, oh yeah, give Saka rest. And I'm like, bro, the best players have to play. You will never see Messi or Ronaldo saying, oh, I don't want to play because my toe hurts or something like that. The best players.
Do you think James was vindicated by the fact that he did suffer that injury? Because they do say that those hamstring injuries are like cumulative.
Yeah.
It's a workload injury a lot of the time. The amount of running and sprinting, checking back and stuff like that you do over time, that builds up. We've seen a lot of those types of injuries in the Premier League this season, by the way.
Yeah. Look, I think, of course, he needs to be, I think all of our players should be managed. So I think there's times where we're 4-0 up. Take Saka off. What's he doing on? We're 4-0 up. We've got 70 minutes to go. Yeah, you can take him off. But the reality is the best players want to play every single minute. And that's how football goes.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, man. I think in some instances I get it. But in other instances, I'm like, I don't remember what game we played. We played a Champions League game. I think it was against PSV, funny enough. And I remember James saying, yeah, I don't want Saka to play. I'm like, what are you talking about? He has to, like, I understand why he has to play. He's our biggest, he's our best player. Unfortunately, injuries do happen. But the reality is, even if you ask Saka himself, he'll say, yeah, I want to play. I want to do everything I can to get on that pitch. And if he's fit, if he's ready, if he's 100%, play him. Why can't he play? Give him minutes. I'm not saying that he should start. He's not saying he should play the whole game. But, you know, we've got to start somewhere. Simple.
Yep. I mean, listen, it's very exciting news to hear that he's on the verge of coming back. Obviously, like I said, and you've said as well, Kenny, that he needs to be monitored. And if we can get him some minutes before the Real Madrid game, then fine. If not, then, we don't want to rush him back. But I think it's a massive boost to the club, to the fans, and to himself that he's coming back. He wants to play football. We want to see him back in an Arsenal shirt. We want to see him back in an Arsenal shirt winning games. So let's hope that goes all the way. And just quickly, Kenya, talking of can he get any minutes against Fulham? That is our next game.
Yes.
Tuesday, April the 1st. April Fool's Day, by the way.
Wow. Right,
what do you make of that game, and give us a quick prediction?
It's going to be a tough game. Fulham as well. They've just lost 3-0. They want to bounce back from that. I'm going to say...
That would be quite a chastening defeat for them, wasn't it? I mean...
it was really strange.
And the turnaround as well.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Well for them, does it?
Yeah, because I watched some of that game, and I actually thought they played better than Palace. They were really, especially in the first half, they were really running things. They should have actually scored on multiple chances, but Palace, they just took their 3 chances and they won the game. So they might feel really defeated after that. And, you know, as well, I think they're missing Raul Jimenez because obviously he's just won the Gold Cup. He's probably jet lagged and stuff. So they're going to be up for it. I'm going to say an Arsenal, I'm going to say a 3-1 win, man. I need to see some goals, and I do think they'll probably score, but I think we'll definitely win.
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually think that this might be a good time to play Fulham, to be honest. I mean, they're coming off the back of, like I said, quite a chastening 3-0 defeat at home. They would have expected a lot better than what they got from that game. Yeah. And I think that they've got to come to our part of London, and I think that their morale might be a little bit on the floor. So, and we've not played for a while, and yeah, man, we need a win, and I think we'll get it against Fulham by a couple of goals. And that, Kenya, pretty much brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, it's been all good.
Thanks to everybody that submitted comments. 2 things in closing. One, and this applies to your dad. Tell him not to forget that the clocks go forward.
Yeah, that's so true, man. Better go to bed early tonight.
A lot of people tend to get found out when the clocks go forward or back. So
yeah, it's true.
The other thing I want to say is tomorrow, I understand, is Eid. So I want to say happy Eid to all my Muslim friends.
Yes, Eid Mubarak.
Faith. And yeah, man, enjoy your weekend. And thanks so much, Kenya, for coming on. Thanks so much to the people who contributed to the show. And we'll see you guys again very soon. Take care.
Nice. Peace.
Listen up. You're watching TikToks all day anyway, so why not get paid for it? Ever thought about making money from TikTok but you don't have any followers? Well, forget the 1,000 follower rule. GFN Vault has just changed the game. AFTV and DR Sports have partnered with one of the biggest UK creators, Anthony Owo, to bring you GFN Vault.
Our agency helps you earn, grow, succeed with exclusive support. With 0 following, you can start earning straight away. No gimmicks, no catches, 100% free.
Every big creator started from nothing, including me. So why not you?
Whether that is football, gaming clips, or just chatting complete and utter rubbish, anyone can be a creator, just like me.
So hit the link right now, get involved, and start earning today with GFN Vault. Do not sleep on this.